Alright, so I'm Mikos, and this is the devlog resume on my first release game on Roblox. In this video, I'll be covering most of the creation processes, mistakes and errors, the way I found to make this game work in the first place, the fixes I went through, and also I would like to talk about the game ideas and the concept in general. So I hope you enjoy. Alright, just to mention, if you want to see a resume and not hear me talk too much nonsense, just skip to this timer and you'll be fine. Alright then, starting with the first version of this game, one of the main problems I had is that I choose to make the platform moving through physics. That is, I used something called align position, and through script I made it change its how can I say, like, position. Yeah, I'll just skip that part, like it's not really necessary information. But yeah, basically what was happening is that when you get like to chunk or phase, when you generate like more than 80 phases, they would start having like mismatch. They would start like having a long distance between them, the platforms, I mean, the chunks, and that definitely wasn't what I was aiming for. So yeah, I'll cover that later, the fix I made for this. So another problem was, should I make the game run on server or on client? I believe I started with server, even though I knew like client was performance friendly, yeah. Because what happens basically is that if you have the game running on server, the client needs to render in itself, like you need to see things in the game, right? You're seeing things through your computer, so you're the client. And the signals the server will send to your computer depends on your network. So that isn't much stable. And what happens is, even if like the game sends a signal to you in 0.2 milliseconds, and in another frame it sends it in 0.6 milliseconds, you're gonna experience like jittery frames and the platform just skipping some positions and not like really smooth movements, you know. So that's definitely not what we want in our game as well. So yeah, then I switched up and yeah, decided to make a client and just use the server for handling informations like if the player is alive or the high score and stuff like that. And so for the hitbox, I first trying to make it raycast, but what just happens is like raycasts should be used more for tracking movement, you know, like if you have some animation and like character needs to track, you know, needs to track the movement of the sword of the enemy, and then you will use raycast in general, but not in this type of game. And yeah, it was just like a bad decision overall, so I ended up switching it to part scan. So solutions on the right road, right? On the right road. When I start to find solutions for this game, the physics platform, that thing we talked about, it was trash. So I switched it up for C-frame plus run servers or frame rate based movement. So what would happen is I move the amount of platform, like let's say one, I moved like one stud every frame, and that part gets tricky, all right? Because let me check the thing real quick right here. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about this right now. So this part gets tricky because frame rate is based entirely on frame rate, like no shit. And the problem I faced was that if your game is running 60 FPS, nice, it was intended to run on that frame rate. That's what I was making the game for. But then a friend of mine was going to test the game, and he was playing, for some reason, he was playing Roblox at 240 FPS. I don't know why someone would do that, but alright, he was doing that, and the game was just like unplayable. Like, platform would move like flash, like not playable, not playable at all, like not even playable. So at that point, I had to make a timer thing based on a 60 FPS timer, would you call, I think, because like if your game is running at 60 FPS, it's gonna fire a frame every 0.016 seconds. I believe that's the number. And what I did was, if your game was running above 60 FPS, there's actually a condition, right, an if condition, that if 0.016 seconds had passed it, the game executes the movement process, otherwise it just doesn't execute anything at all. And the higher FPS run service based things was used for checking like enemy collision and stuff like that. That one I didn't change, that one I didn't put any sort of a timer on it. So it's basic your frame rate checking that every frame. So yeah. And this is the part I'm gonna be calling the end of the road. In here, I found a program called Obsidian, and that program, like whatever you do, like you should be using it. Like organizing things in it is just amazing, very nice. And yeah, I did like a last to do list and a fixes list. So whatever I need to do in the game that's mechanical, I had a list for it. And everything I wanted to add in the game that's VFX or fix some VFX, I had a list for it. So let's suppose I found a problem, but I don't want to fix it today. I add it to the list. So the next day I fix it. And yeah, this is just a great tool to have in your hands. Talking about soundtrack right now, and this part I want to talk also about the game concept in general, because one thing's related to the other. And yeah, the soundtrack, something like synthwave, most in general, like 80s synthwave, you know, that's a neon style, that feeling of neon, because definitely that's what I want to pass in my game. Such as cyberpunk stuff as well. That's the visual I was aiming for, something vaporwave as well. And do you remember like this mobile game called Vector, that you had to make jumps and parkour and stuff, flee from a guy and stuff like that, a policeman I think, yeah, whatever. I also want that vibe of the game in my game, so yeah, something like that, some mixed feelings about those aesthetics. Alright then, now talking about sound effects and visual effects. And the coolest thing I found in sound effects is that like you can have like just one sound effect for like when you swing your sword, right? You're gonna see that in my game. Whenever you swing your sword, it's gonna play a sound, and every time it's gonna sound different. But the thing is, those are not different sounds. This is the same sound, but with different playback speed. And yeah, that's just the coolest things about it, because you just put up a random number, and it's gonna give that feeling whenever it plays. Now, on VFX, there's two ways that I brought them into my game. First one being through image labels or billboard UI that you're gonna be seeing whenever you collide a shuriken with another shuriken. That's it, and it just like twins the image with a point lighting to it, so it gives the illumination and the spark effect. The second way is gonna be through actual particle emitter. Whenever you counter attack a shuriken or an enemy, and you're gonna be seeing actual particles from a particle emitter being emitted through a script. And that's important because back then I wasn't adding VFX because I had real problem with synchronizing them. I couldn't synchronize them until I realized you need to actually emit them through a script, so that makes it a lot easier, you know. You just disable the particle emitter and you emit the particle with dots emits, call the function, with whenever you want. So yeah, that's the best part about it. Alright, now on porting it for different devices, my game is now available for all devices, computer, console and mobile. But there's one important thing I think I should mention, at least in my perspective, is that your game should always feel the same no matter the device. Like, I know the inputs are different and the positions are different, but you should give the player the feeling that he always should strategically think the same way as he would in any other device. Like the way he uses his fingers, the way he thinks about the game in overall, that should always be something at least very similar in every device. That's at least my opinion. Alright, so as my final conclusion, I really want you to pay attention to this, because this game, simple game idea, bring me so many opportunities that I want you to listen to this. Because I not only learned to script better, but this is the part that I really want you to listen. And that is, I learned to organize better. And that's the thing. That's the thing about anything. Like, let's be honest, bro. Like, in real life, everything needs to be organized, right? But in programmation, making games in general, that's just to another level. Because if you don't make a solid foundation for your game, you're gonna be lost in the long road. So you're gonna make sure that your game has a nice, solid foundation. And that's structurizing your game better. Me myself, I struggle to navigate in the game right now because I improved so much that the level of the foundation of this game is just deprecated to me. Like, I have difficulty to navigate to it because of that. And that's a great thing actually, because that means I improved my knowledge now. And yeah, for real, if you gotta take anything from this video to add to you, like if you're a dev too, just know to organize your game, study that, do this, because yeah, this is gonna make everything for your game. And another thing is setting metas and accomplishing them, because the thing that I like the most about programming, right, is that you get loose in a cycle of getting frustrated at a code that doesn't work, and then getting like super dopamine because you just fixed it, you just found a solution. And you get through this cycle every time. It's like you're working out your brain, just like you're working out in the gym, you know? Your muscles fail, but they regenerate better, same thing happens. So setting metas helps it because it forces you through that, you know? It's like a dumbbell for your brain, so it's very nice. And of this part of the video, I just want to say shout out for some people, starting with my friend Malner. My brother. He made me the assets for this game. You know, this guy is fucking cool. I mean, I'm sorry for the word right here, but like, yeah, let's be honest. And some shout outs to content creators like BrownDev, CrusherFire, BuyBlocks, The Dev King, and Ampro. Bro, these 5 dudes is like the teachers you need. They're all teachers you need. You don't need more than that, alright? Trust me. So yeah, real thanks to everyone.